Is Vice President Myron from the Navajo Nation.
Yate, it's good to be here. Isn't it a great day to be Indigenous? Say, Myron Lizer, Comanche, Nisla. It's good to be here with you all. Thank you. Good morning. And I'm looking forward to this being the springboard to many great conversations. You know, when all of our leaders are here and all of the stakeholders and all of our representative people from our various communities to be here, it is a good time. So let's have a great productive day and a great productive remaining of the session. And let's continue to advocate and to pray for everything that we're going to talk about, okay? Everything comes with prayer, and I believe our First Nations prayers are powerful, very powerful. And so on behalf of the Navajo Nation, and the Office of the President and Vice President, we extend our appreciation to Governor Lujan Grisham, the Mexico State Legislatures, and the New Mexico Indian Affairs Department, Ms. Secretary, for hosting the 2020 American Indian Day at the Legislature here. Today, many New Mexico tribal leaders gather to celebrate our culture, our successes, and our future. And together we reflect on this year's theme, honoring and protecting Mother Earth for future generations. Overall, he's been a successful and productive 1 year in office serving the Navajo people as Vice President of the Navajo Nation. Within the year, the Nez Lizer administration has been guided by our priorities, which are based directly on the priorities of the Navajo people. President Nez and I, we went to 70 communities on Navajo Nation, and we got to hear the heartbeat of our people. And so it's from them that we got our priorities. It wasn't something that we concocted ourselves, but from the people. And so we listened to all their issues and that were brought forth by the people. Many of those issues centered on the theme of today's American Indian Day, the protection of our land for future generations. Within the first 3 months of our administration, President Nez and I established a new vision for energy and energy development for the long-term benefit of the Navajo people. In April of 2019, President Jonathan Nez and myself issued a historic proclamation stating that the Navajo Nation will pursue and prioritize renewable energy development. Yes. This proclamation, known as the Navajo Hayoth Kah, or Navajo Sunrise Proclamation, we acknowledge that coal and fossil fuels have provided many benefits to our people over many years, and we also realize that the energy market is changing. Coal-based energy is no longer at its peak, and our people are wanting change. And as Navajo people, we have always been resilient in times of change, and we have always stepped up and answered the call, and we have always focused on the new niche opportunities that would come down the pipe. In this day and age, it happens to be renewable energy and renewable energy development. And so for the long-term benefit of our people, we will continue to leave no stone unturned in this regard. This proclamation marks a new milestone for the new era for the Navajo Nation. Another significant priority of the administration is protecting Navajo language and culture. This year, President Nez and I have been advocating on Capitol Hill for the protection of Chaco Canyon through the Chaco Cultural Heritage Area Protection Act of 2019. It's sponsored by Assistant Speaker Ben Ray Lujan and co-sponsored by Congresswoman Deb Haaland. Working together as tribal leaders, we can help protect our beautiful sacred lands and artifacts for future generations. Recently, our administration had also strongly urged federal Environmental Protection Agency officials to prioritize Navajo contractors and businesses in this ongoing uranium mine cleanup efforts. Much more, over the last several years, the federal EPA has been awarded approximately $1.7 billion from several settlements and congressional appropriations for uranium mine cleanup efforts on the Navajo Nation. The federal EPA is steadily using these funds to address the cleanup of 524 abandoned uranium mine sites on or near the Navajo Nation. Last month, federal EPA officials presented a draft of the federal EPA's 10-year plan to address impacts of uranium contamination on the Navajo Nation. This 10-year plan proposes to identify the next steps in addressing the human health and environmental risks associated with the legacy of uranium mining on the Navajo Nation. The Navajo people have suffered for many years due to the exploration and production of uranium on the Navajo Nation during the Cold War. It is our time to begin the healing process of our lands and of our people, so that our future generations will continue to flourish through our teachings and our way of life for many more generations to come. Once again, we thank the leadership of the state of New Mexico for working closely with the Navajo Nation to address and to preserve sacred lands for future generations. And on behalf of the Navajo Nation Office of the President and Vice President, our President Jonathan Nez, who is traveling as we speak, wishes he could be here. He sends his great hopes that you would continue to pray for not only our Navajo Nation, but all Indian nations in the great state of New Mexico and Arizona and Utah and Colorado. And so with that, I want to thank you all for being here today on this very special day, this great day of being Indigenous, and let's advance everything that we are going to be advocating for here at the Capitol. So I want to thank you again, Ms. Secretary, that we can continue to be and have robust discussions here under this great Capitol and in this rotunda. May you be blessed today, and may you continue to walk in good faith and in a good way. Kia and love. Thank you.
And now our Governor